This is the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla.
The Constitution is the fine blueprint to get us towards a more perfect union, as opposed to Barack Obama's idea of growing government and taking away our freedoms.
A woman who believes those very words will be our special guest today, just endorsed by Governor Sarah Palin. Representative Sandy Adams is here. The Florida Congresswoman is now Palin-powered as she looks to win her primary next month. So much going on in Palin land lately that we will have 2 shows this week instead of 1, with this edition dedicated to the governor's endorsement of Sandy Adams. Hi, Congresswoman Adams. Thanks for being with us.
Happy to be with you.
Well, congratulations. A big endorsement this past week for you with Governor Sarah Palin throwing her support behind your campaign, and she must really believe in you because she also supported your 2010 bid, and you are the very first House candidate to be endorsed by her in 2012. Special for you?
Yes, it is, and I'm so honored to have her help and endorsement.
It's no wonder you want to continue serving. You've really done things for others really your whole life. You grew up in a military family and you entered the Air Force at age 17. First of all, thank you for your service. We're an Air Force house, too. My grandfather served. And after your military career, you joined the Orange County Sheriff's Office, where you worked for almost 2 decades. Tell us a little bit about all that service and how maybe the lessons learned in those 2 capacities still help you today.
Well, I think being a child of a military enlisted man, one of 4, and traveling the world with him and learning about different cultures and different things out in the world besides, your own little community, it also helped frame who I was, along with the fact that when I enlisted and then later was the wife of an enlisted man who was deployed. So I've seen military from as a child of a military person, as a wife of a deployed military person, and as an active duty person. So it's given me a real roundabout look at how the military operates and what military families go through on a day-to-day time. And it's so important that we understand that these are men and women who are out there fighting for the very freedoms that we enjoy. And I think that old saying is always going to be accurate. Freedom is never free. And these young men and women, they go out and they fight so that we have the opportunities to live in a free nation, a free country. And so I think that it really did frame who I am by being part of the military life.
And your sheriff's experience, something similar maybe? I know Sheriff Joe endorsed you recently, so obviously you're getting a lot of respect in that community.
Yes, being a law enforcement officer was very fulfilling. It gave me the opportunity to provide for my daughter. I was a single parent for 20 of her first 25 years. And so having the ability to continue my service as a law enforcement officer, upholding our Constitution once again, as you know, when you're sworn into the military, you swear to uphold the Constitution. When you're sworn in as a police officer, you swear to uphold the Constitution. And that's something that I take very seriously. And it was a very fulfilling life. I loved my law enforcement career. I still believe that I'm a police officer through and through because I believe in our nation, and we are a nation of laws.
Now, your race here is another one of these incumbent versus incumbent deals, but you two are not the same. You're a Tea Party freshman while your opponent has been in D.C. forever and cuts deals with the likes of Barbara Boxer. Big difference?
Yes. My opponent's 20 years incumbent and has he loves earmarks. And he's not ashamed to say it, and he's been quoted as saying it in some of the papers. But the reality of it is we can no longer continue to spend the way my opponent has been spending. When he took office, we were less than $4 trillion in debt. We're now almost $16 trillion in debt. Washington, as usual, has got to stop. And that's one of the things that myself and 86 other freshmen were sent to Washington in 2010 to tell Washington, it's time to stop the spending. It's time to get the debt and deficit under control and repeal Obamacare. And that's exactly what we've been trying to do, and that's what I'm going to continue to fight for, because our children and grandchildren and their children deserve to have the same opportunities that we have.
You read my mind there a little bit. Earmarks have become a hot issue in your race, and like you said, he will say that he's for earmarks, and we're talking about some big numbers too, right?
Yeah, he's requested what we have been able to determine about $4 billion so far.
Wow.
And so when you hear, oh, earmarks aren't much, no, earmarks do add to our debt and deficit, and you got to remember what they are. These are things that are kind of airdropped in the middle of the night, and it's to sweeten the pot so that people will, otherwise that were otherwise less prone to vote for the bill will actually vote for bad policy because they're getting something, that sweetener, so to speak, in the bill, and that's what happens. They vote for it.
Yeah, that old Washington way, too. You'll hear people in D.C. say they're against earmarks, but with that little caveat of, oh, unless it's in my district and helps me get reelected. In endorsing you, Sarah Palin said, we must support conservatives who are with us on the issues but not weighed down with the burden of crony capitalism that is so prevalent in Washington, D.C. She goes on to say, unlike her opponent, Sandy is free from the shackles of lobbyists and backdoor dealings in Washington. On the money?
Yes. Absolutely on the money. The people I represent are the people I represent, the people of this district and the people of America. I have always said from the very beginning that representative is not a title, it's a job description. I work for the American people, I work for Central Floridians, and I'm going to fight for them every step of the way. And like I said, I want the same opportunities that I was able to have, so that your children and my children and their children will have those. And right now, because of the way Washington has operated for all these years, during which time my opponent was part of it and is part of it, both parties have put us on a fiscal cliff. And here we are. And if we continue Washington as usual, we go off the cliff. And we cannot do that. Our children deserve better.
Now, your opponent has brought in a lot of money. I'm hoping you'll bridge that gap now with Palin power, but his cash, isn't a lot of that from special interest?
Yes, it is a lot of it, and we're hoping to bridge it too, but I always say, if you've got the right message, it works, and we're looking forward to getting a little bit of support, a little bit more support, and we hope that with the endorsement will come a lot of help our way from a lot of good, true conservatives throughout this great country, because we could use their help. And if they'd like to come and help us, it's very easy. All they need to do is go to www.sandyadams.com. We could use your help.
Let's talk to Floridians a little bit specifically, why they should send you back to the House. What will your priorities be in another term when it comes to the Sunshine State?
My priorities will always be get our debt and deficit under control, make sure the government is working for you, that you're not working for government, and repeal Obamacare. That is now, by the own statements by the Supreme Court, the largest tax increase in our history on the American people at all levels of income. We need to repeal it. It needed to be repealed when it was first passed because we all knew it put government and bureaucrats between you and your doctor. But it still needs to be repealed. Whether it's a tax or a mandate or a penalty, it still puts government between you and your doctor. And it is going to ration care. And as we have all seen, since its passing, healthcare costs are going up, not down. People do not like this, and they have asked us to repeal it, and we are going to keep on until we do.
It also looks like anyone pro-life or anyone who cares about the Second or Fifth Amendment should vote for you, too.
Oh, yes, I am definitely pro-life, and I am definitely, I love my amendments, let's put it that way. I do carry a gun. I have been a staunch supporter of the Second Amendment all the way through my career, and I am going to fight to ensure that all our amendments are protected. But I do believe in life, and I definitely believe in our Second Amendments.
She's a veteran, a former member of law enforcement. You can see why Palin's on board here. Have you been impressed, Congresswoman, with Sarah Palin's 2012 endorsement record so far? I mean, it's been spot on with the Senate candidates and also the situation in Wisconsin. And also, I get the impression, she sees you needed some help here to fight big government, and I think Mama Grizzlies enjoy this kind of thing, helping those who want to protect the Constitution and busting out the endorsements, teeth, claws, and all when necessary.
I think you're absolutely right, and I am impressed with the governor, and I have always been impressed with her. She's a strong lady. She cares about this country, and she fights for what she believes in, and those are all great characteristics.
Well, it's tremendous, and we're very happy for you, Representative Adams, that you were able to garner this endorsement, and we hope it's going to definitely pay dividends for you. Again, folks, it's sandyadams.com if you can help out anyway. And again, the primary date is?
August 14th.
Okay, August 14th in Florida. Congresswoman Sandy Adams, endorsed by Sarah Palin. Best of luck to you, and thanks so much for being here on the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio.
It's great to be with you. Thank you.
Again, it's sandyadams.com. We have already seen the power a Palin endorsement has with Cruz, Fisher, Hatch, Murdoch, and Clayfish. Now, it's Sandy Adams getting that coveted Barracuda bounce. Folks, remember, you can follow us on Twitter at SaraNet Radio, and we are also on Facebook, so please like SaraNet Radio on Facebook. And don't forget, the Palin Update is now on demand, so just head to SaraNetRadio.net, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. That'll just about do it for this special edition of the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio. Visit SaraNetRadio.net for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. I want to thank everyone here at SaraNet Radio. Thanks to Congresswoman Sandy Adams, and thank you for listening today. Please be sure to join us next time for another edition of the Palin Update. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.